Today we sit down with Henri Lamy, a French contemporary painter who has found love and a new home in the Philippines. We'll explore his artistic journey, his vibrant fusion of cultures, and how his work bridges two worlds. What do you think is the true purpose of art in society?
Yeah, so one of them is to gather people. For example, the capoeira painting performance that I had yesterday was made for that. You create a way to communicate that is not necessarily usual for them. And then it's easily not to compare or not to be shy so that you can enter the process. And it's similar to drugs, but it's more sane because you're gonna leave your shyness away and you'll be able to communicate on a similar channel.
Excuse me, you're talking about the martial arts dance that you did.
For example, that's part of it.
How do you call it again?
Capoeira.
Capoeira. Can you give us a bit of a background of capoeira?
Yeah, capoeira is a martial art that was invented in Brazil many years ago for the slaves to free from their masters. So in the cotton fields, they would practice their dance and fight. But when the master or the guards would come around, they would actually disguise it into a dance cultural practice so that it would look harmless to their master. So that's why they incorporated the instruments and the dance to it.
I think it's similar to what we have with the Arnis. If I'm not mistaken, that's a bit of the history. They used to use swords, but since the Spanish time when they came over here and colonized the country, they were not allowed to do that anymore. So they made sticks out of the original concept of the art of Arnis to,
Okay.
yeah, from swords. So at least it'll be allowed, right? If
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, it's one of the histories of Arnis.
Cool.
Yeah. You also practice Arnis, right?
I've only a couple of times to be honest. And I find this gesture that's kind of complicated, needs synchronicity.
But with your flexibility, and I saw you how you do the Brazilian martial arts. You could easily do that, I'm sure.
Maybe. And then the second reason why art is important to society is to reflect on it, which is kind of similar to the first one. But let's say if there was no art in the society, there might be nobody that questions what's going on politically or socially. So it's also important to have the vision of an artist. And if you combine all those centuries of art together in a museum, you also get a glimpse of how was this life in particular country for centuries. So it's also very important for that.
You mentioned in your speech last night that one of the artists that also influenced you, this Filipino artist, and he has
Amorsolo.
Amorsolo,
Yeah.
right? Amorsolo. So what about his style of painting that sort of like influenced you?
Well, what I like very much is before art was only for elite, and he kind of made it different. Of course, he had to sustain himself, so probably got a number of commissions from richer people, but was also not letting aside
Patrons, is that what
yeah,
you call them?
yeah,
Yeah, patrons. Yeah.
definitely. But he would also love to observe those countryside scenes of um, regular people in the fields, in the villages, the fiestas, stuff like that. And I saw a number of his pieces before in the internet or people handing me their phones, but only this year, after 15 years in the Philippines, came to the National Museum and saw a whole room about his works. And I was blown away. It brought tears to my eyes, man. I was really getting emotional because I felt like, oh, this guy has something super. I reflect in his practice, like the way he approached people and roam around the cities and different continents in the world. There's something I feel close to, something that I share years apart. Especially one thing that I've never seen before is his sketches. Of course, it's not as developed as the paintings, but the sketches are that accurate that it doesn't really need to be to go further into detail because he already sets up the postures, proportions, lights and shadows. It's amazing.
Wow. I'm not even as familiar with this work, especially going to the museum where it's at. It's one of the things I should be doing.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Um, um, how do you define success as an artist?
Success is being needed, no? That's what I think.
Success is what again? I'm sorry.
Being needed.
Being needed.
Yeah.
Wow. How profound.
Because if nobody needs what you do, how would you define it as success? Like we don't live into a one man's world. We're in 6 billion people live in here. So if your art doesn't reflect to anyone, how successful is it? So yeah, it has to be, and that's the reason why the path is not so important, and at least is open to opportunities because whoever needs me and basically feeling yourself useful, because it's also one of the reasons why me and my wife founded the Taverne Gutenberg, the art residency in France that we had here in Poblacion, Makati for 1 year, 2 years actually, is because we wanted the artists to be useful to the community. We know that there's so many individuals that create in their room. It's never gonna be shown anywhere. It's not gonna have any purpose except for them to express themselves. But what's the point if you don't express it to the world? So community works. In that time, we opened a building in Lyon, thanks to my dad actually, who was part owner of it, and managed to convince the previous owners based on the uh, former experience in Paris in the 59 Rivoli, in my first art residency. So we reproduced the concept there in Lyon in this building, had our first show, and straight away started to mingle with the people in our neighborhood, which at that time was a majority of Algerian migrants that cannot that easily blend to the French population, but also carries such uh, cultural wealth. Simple examples, but for example, like the way you guys deal with children or family is also similar to them. It is also something that we lost as French people because we're not attached to those values anymore, which is a shame. And that also contributes to why I was seduced by the Filipino culture, is that you really feel that you belong to something. And that's the same feeling I want to have as an artist, being useful to a community and having my art serve purposes. So we started to invite, there was those two associations, neighbors in our street. One of them was for elderly who couldn't, like, they speak Arab and they're not able to read and write. So admin stuff that these guys would help them with. And we would have very natural conversational exchanges. And it also came naturally that I went to invite them to my place, give them free art classes, would go to theirs and paint walls. And like that, opportunities would emerge, even though it's not where you thought as a because of course I was young and I still in need to earn my bread. But there are opportunities that came out of this. Either patrons who were seduced by the initiative and would sponsor or buy some of my artworks related to this those experiences, or kahit ano talaga. But it's really the way I was seeing myself in those type of situations.
Well, I love what you're saying. It's very grounded on values and putting more meaning and purpose in what you're doing, and you're doing it as an artist, and affecting community, and engaging everybody, and then trying to come up with a space, if I could call it that, where people be given opportunities.
Yeah, that's
The way you
space is
have
key.
been. Yeah.
Because it needs a place where you can exchange those moments and experiences. That's what. So every time I was bouncing on my former experience to bring something to a new space, and so in 2015 or 17, I guess, I showed this project to Romel Marasigan, who's the owner of Z Hostel in Makati, Poblacion,
Okay.
and told him, oh, why not do we try to do something similar? It's so funny because it serves everyone's interest. So
Right.
it cannot.
Interesting.
I'm both being selfish
At the same time.
and giving back, because I want, like, what I want to do is paint every day, but I'm just trying to find a way that I can do it and it will serve other people's agendas. So for example, Rommel wanted to have this building that was called the Ruins. He wanted to keep it active. At that time, he wanted to bring a lot of people to Poblacion to party, bring a bit more cultural intensity, because there's mostly bars and restaurants and nightclubs. And also a number of people in the area, because we managed to bring together street children and celebrities in the
Wow.
same events.
Right, right.
And we also gave a number of free workshops with different foundations: Verlani, Museo Pambata, Stairway Foundation, Akai, Project Pearls in Tondo. So there are 7 of them. At the same time, we brought artists from France in residency here. We didn't have funding for that. We just organized live painting events, sold the artworks on the spots, enables us to buy flight tickets, have Z Hostel sponsoring the rooms and the food for 8 artists for
Wow.
like 8 months or something. Then after, another Filipino friend took over when the French people went back and had the Filipino version of it.
Amazing.
So Aldrich Maglantay, one of my closest friends here also, was helping me a lot with that. So yeah, always getting surrounded with different people and try to see how each of us can go further in his own mission and serves the whole at the same time.
Community. Fantastic. I have to admit, you are your heart is coming from a good place. That's amazing.
Thank you, man.
So, is there a deeper message you would want to convey with your art?
Deeper message I want to convey with my art is that you should try to convey your deeper message with your art. Explaining is, we all have dreams, and I feel with art you're able to express it or put an image to it. In fact, I always had that representation where it's also inspired from my earlier dad practices drawings, where he would slice open someone's skull and I would have a staircase popping out of it, and then someone else's skull was split open too. It's not bloody, it's just like anatomy. And then there's a bridge that comes from their two staircase. stairways. Um, this is what the cultural spaces, the art residencies that we founded with my wife. This is what um, those spaces are made for. So I think I want to emphasize life and passion. We all have things that spark our passion in life, and I would like that my art could enhance that. Tell to everyone, if you have a passion, please express it, because that's when you live the most. Uh, you express to the fullest your inside persona.
Your humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be passionate like kids. So that's why I paint a lot of kids. Be passionate like artists or sport, martial, whatever. Everybody who's musicians, lover, there's a very intense energy in lovers too, or families, like that.
Wow. Okay. Do you believe art should challenge society or merely reflect it?
Just reflect it. No questions asked. No boundary pushed. Keep it safe. That I'm kidding. Of course, it has to challenge our ways of seeing things, how we, yeah, the different practices we have. Even like one of the ways to challenge that is to travel from one place to another, because you see here there's a number of practices that would be forbidden, whereas there it's going to be normal. So how do we go about that, and how? So society is just a way that we manage to be organized together politically, socially, um, but we also have to deal with ourselves and what we want to convey as message and energy and values. Like society values are different from human values, so of course it's called libre arbitre in French, like the,
Which means,
I don't remember, self judgment or something in English. How would you say this in Tagalog? Like
which
the
one?
way
Which
that
self-judgment?
you will
Know
question,
thyself or something?
you will question everything. You will just not ingest every information
Okay,
that comes
yeah.
to you. You will question it. Is it real? Is it wrong? Is it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the it's bad because now I want to switch to French. I don't have all the words in English, but you know, there's a century where thinkers and philosophers emerged in France. I guess maybe 18th century, the century of the lights in French,
Mm-hmm.
where we had all those thinkers coming up with yourself, your self will, your self arbitrage, your self um, questioning of what society tells you. So it's really important for artists, but also for regular people.
So one of the role of art, from your perspective and what you're saying, is that it can indeed change the way people perceive the world and their world of that, right?
Yeah,
It's a
true,
reflection of that. It should be.
definitely.
I agree with you, totally, Henry. Okay, now let's talk about something a little bit more personal.
Okay.
So, what brought you in this country and you decided to settle down? I mean, I know you still go back to France and here, but what finally made you to decide to
Yeah.
settle down
So
here?
at that time, 2010 or something, I'm with a Filipino family. Like my ex was Filipina, and every year for holidays they would ask me to meet them, to go with them to the Philippines. To be honest, I was not considering it, because I thought in my mind, as a young man who's trying to make money, I'm not going to be able to have opportunities in this country. I was leaning towards China and Japan because I think there's a bigger economical opportunity.
Right.
But she kept on insisting, and it's very funny because actually I had a 1 month trip, van trip from Manila to Camarines Sur, going through Bicol, Daet, um, Mayon Volcano, Legazpi, Naga. So I had a real blast and super deep exploration into the Filipino culture, which I literally fell in love with like no other before. Beats from afar, Japan and China, of course. Even France, like, why did I live in France the rest of my past life? It's so much better here. Because I was amazed that everybody's so welcoming, so much in touch with their feelings, the community spirit, and the climate and super powerful tropical jungle that, it's amazing. It's like you plant a stick and you come back, it's a tree, and not that long after.
Yeah.
So I had all that. And what even makes it more complete is that at the end of my trip, I went to Manila and also found myself uh, surrounded with people who would appreciate art and help me launch my first exhibitions. At that time was Altromondo, actually. So met with my current in-laws, the d'Abbeville, through Olivia because she was an artist, and every country I used to travel in would meet up with other artists and exchange experiences and practices. So anyways, I went back to France after a month, got ditched by my current girlfriend at that time, and met Maya, my current wife. We've been together for 13 years now.
So,
At Olivia d'Abouville show at Paris Museum of Modern Art. So I met the whole family there during the opening.
interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Fell in love, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
That's why you also decided to settle here?
Of course. Because I had a stronger reason to come back after that.
Is this the second Filipina that you met? It's the first one you were talking about earlier was a Filipina too.
She was Filipino, but she was born and raised in France.
Okay.
So she had a different attachment to her roots. She didn't even speak Tagalog, for example.
She didn't have the same values as the traditional,
Yeah.
or yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You got stuck with Filipina women, man. What happened to you, man? That's good. Can't blame you.
Touche.
I married a Filipina too.